Hello, everyone. Hopefully, you're having a wonderful day today. It's gorgeous where I am today. The sun is out and it's nice and bright, and the sky is really gorgeous blue. So, makes me happy. Today, I'm going to read for you The War in Heaven, Part 1. This was written probably. It was from a video from Yellow Rose for Texas, which is no longer anywhere to be found. In fact, her most recent video that she put out on Monday got pulled down because she is telling the truth. So this was a video from probably 5, 6, maybe 7 years ago, somewhere in there. But it tells about everything that's been happening right now, what's going on with our government, who these bloodline families are, where they come from. This is all about the system and what they've done to us and our system. So today, I'll read you The War in Heaven Part 1. So it's a little long, but the great lawgiver is back, the family of mankind, who is Adam. He is about to out all the liars who have deceived all humanity on earth and used them for dead slaves and human sacrifices to literally feed their gods. The divine couple are ending the monetary system. You don't know that in choosing the money system, you are making a choice to go with Lilith. This is part of human history that is missing or been removed from books. The way human societies worked was that all shared. The elderly and the young were taken care of. There was no poverty or starvation. We evolved cities and businesses to provide the societies with goods. As we decided to form into nations, what we did was form compacts and agreements, which were called charters of incorporation, which was basically a formation of we the people as a nation and doing business as with other nations for bulk trades. We agreed that this land was ours, and as owners of that land, each man, woman, and child received their portion of anything that was produced from the land that the people required as necessities of life. This was because every man, woman, and child eventually did something with that society, whether elder, matriarchal, or patriarchal, during their lifespan, that was benefiting to man, woman, or child, and this was their labor to that society. You have human value to society. That is your labor, which is not measured by production of goods or wealth. When someone wanted to start a business and we agreed it was to the benefit of society, as a society, we agreed that he may receive and use the materials of the nation that he needs to practice whatever good he was producing. That we as a people would extend or goodwill, which was our credit and therefore our labor. That we as a people would give our labor and work for the business to produce that product, and we agreed to help keep business continuing during its lifespan by using the products produced. When we wanted an item or service, we went to the store or owner in order to order the service or pick up the item. We had already paid for it with our labor to the society. That was the law. The Babylonian slave queen Selene. The short of the story, Queen Selene put Babylon under the god El. El is short for Elohim. Al, Il, or El, Al, Il, or El are Latin suffixes that mean God. What they removed from the books is which god deity. The Sumerian and Mesopotamian cultures had more than 2,000 Anunnaki gods. This was the era of Azazel, who was also called Masuwa, the great architect god of the Freemason coven, and Azazel was made the landlord of the land on earth by the Anunnaki Council. These were run by the Nephilim children, and this is backed by Greek, Hebrew, and Sumerian texts. Revelation 16:13. Then I saw 3 evil spirits that looked like frogs. They came out of the mouth of the dragon, out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouths of the false prophet. They are spirits of demons performing miraculous signs, and they go out to the kings of the whole world to gather them for the battle on the great day of God Almighty. Then they gathered the kings together to the place in Hebrew called Armageddon. These offspring were the sons of God, and they were responsible for the human sacrifice to God, which is the origin of the law of divine right to reign by pharaohs and kings. This was the El's portion of the harvest of humanity as a food source. This was art taught by Azazel, who created the Coven era. BC and BCE is the Bohemian Coven era. They removed this. It does not originate from or mean before Christ. Selene was a pharaoh and the Nephilim offspring of Inanna and Utu. Her coven was the Coven El, and with Azazel, she summoned demons like Solomon. She gave a lesser nobility of the pharaohs a Roman land claim of divine right by God, the same way the pharaohs claimed divine right to rule and reign. All of this was to allow the lesser blood the ability to gain their due from the harvest of the slave populations. The base root words are in Germanic Aryan language, which preceded the Latin usage by usage of current laws. She named this claim of right federal, or federal. And this is specifically the coven of the slaves of Queen Selene. By the arcane laws, the head priest father of the responsible for the sacrifice to Selene, which is a blood sacrifice. The 5-pointed star is Inanna's symbol, although it's inverted, which is satanic, which means pointed down. Feder El translates to bloodkin of El. The Feder El were given divine right by Selene's claim to be the administrators of the fee due to El from their slave population on their land, which is anyone legally under federal law. Washington, D.C., London, and the Vatican are separated, independent city-states that are under this Roman Latin law. Queen Selene created a 5-day work week as a tribute to El. All product from the labor of the population of Babylon, who were the slaves of the Pharaoh Selene, was forcibly brought to the ziggurat temple of the El, who was God, as tribute. Any violation of attempting to keep something was an offense to God. Federal offense. The lesser nobility, who were the federal El, became the merchants at the temples, and the ziggurat became the federal reserved for the bloodkin of El, who were the pharaohs. Selene created money, and she ordered Azazel to place a curse on it. Particularly in the arcane works, it is called luck curse. However, they also placed a debt curse on it. Anyone who chose money or federal therefore owed a debt to El, and the repayment is service to Inanna and the line of Set. This allowed the individual to be sealed by Set at the time of the gathering, rather than sealed by Adam. For the 5 days of labor, the federals, who were the overseers of the slave populations, issued the slaves money. The administrators of the monetary system with rights to set laws, levy taxes, and set penalties and fines, etc., and then collect all the money back, with the profit going to the merchants, bankers, and federals. Those lower nobility who were merchants and money lenders at the ziggurat would then levy taxes and set prices on the goods and products they didn't keep for themselves and sell it for a profit to the population. This was their share of the fee due from the slaves. This was the first use of food as a weapon. This system was designed to be able to place people in default and thereby create a debt to God, and the repayment at that time was a human sacrifice to Azazel on the steps of the ziggurat. This is the origin of the term debt slavery. Selene killed millions, and this is why, although they have erased the books, most have heard of the name of the Babylonian slave queen Selene. Federal is bloodkin to El, and fee due El. Royal or royal is reigning kin to El. Vatican is father of the kin. The Council of Seven is the Luciferian Council of Seven. They removed this. There are two councils, and these are also spoken of in the Lost Book of Enki and other Sumerian texts of the Anunnaki, as well as arcane texts such as John Dee's work. One of the Luciferian Council of Seven and the Archangel Michael Council of Nine, which was the El, and the Sumerian texts, they launched a nuclear war, recorded in the Vedic at the time of Moses, 40 years in the desert. The Council of Seven became the Holy Roman Empire, and the Sumerian laws became the Roman Latin law. This is when the covens and Nephilim went underground as religions, kings, merchants, and bankers of the earth. The last time Federal was used was in 1560 to 1580. Moscow, the lesser nobility, who were the merchants of Moscow, and the coven of Selene were caught, and the result was a pogrom, or massacre of an ethnic group, and Moscow was burned to the ground. The Bilderberg Club is the Bohemian Coven. The owl is literally Lilith's race. The Moloch, who are also called the Owlmen of Cornwall. Washington, D.C. was chosen by a Freemason, and it is sitting on top of an underground Moloch base, which we found out in the last month of what was going on underground there. It is the owl who is directly tampering with our lives, and is the El who are directly involved with our current government as their coven. The Freemason and the El and their covens is who caused the Japanese quake, Fukushima, to disguise a harvest of the population. The CIA is not owned by the U.S., nor is the IMF. By posing as many other names, logos, and branches, both pro and con, on any public issue, they were able to give the complete lie and pass any draconian law. There was only one group and only one conspiracy. This is the end of the Anunnaki owl domination of Earth, Anu Domini, or AD. Okay, that's the War in Heaven, part 1. There's a lot of information in there, especially the wording, like federal, like anything with an AL, IL, EL, they're all bloodkin to these bloodlines, and they're not good. So anyway, take what you will from that, if that interests you, and I'll do the next video as part 2, and I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Thanks.